What up? What's up? What's good, family? I'm your boy Trey Frazier. I got my brother Maestro Styles here with me.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to another episode of the Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. Special shout out to all of our Facebook Live viewers right now. Make sure y'all continue to follow us on the Facebook page. Click the like button. Also, you can follow us on our YouTube channel and on Instagram at Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast, and also on Twitter at Barbershop SPOR2. Another week in the books, man. How you feeling out there, man? What's going on?
I'm good, man. Good, man. I just want to say quick, while I get my Steelers bias, happy 50th birthday to my coach, Mike Tomlin.
Omar Epps is 50.
No, Mike
Already?
Tomlin is 50.
Omar Epps is 50, huh? Happy birthday, Omar Epps, man. The NFL Omar Epps, man. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Realest coach in the league.
I don't know about that, but I see you trying to get it in early, huh?
I'm nah. I just felt you throwing shade, so I'm just rebutting to the shade. That's all. You know what I'm saying? I don't. Nah, that's my coach, dog. T.O. That's my coach right there.
Well, look, happy birthday to all the people that have birthdays today. Shout out to all y'all.
At the end of the day.
At the end of the day, it's the birthday, man. It's another day that is not promised. So that's a milestone for your coach right there. So happy 50th. I still don't like you as a when my team is going up against you, but happy birthday, man. Hope you get many more. Hope you get many more. Brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Let's get into this. Because I don't know if my sports world has just been like terrible since Thanksgiving, bruh. And now I gotta hear that this dude can't stay away from the football field, and now Tom Brady is back with the Buccaneers to try to go at it one last time. Surprised? Not surprised? Expected it?
Definitely did not expect it. Not surprised. I was looking forward to a Tom Brady this league when he retired because I thought he was going to retire anyway. I was just kind of like, all right, cool, bet he out, good riddance. So I'm definitely looking for, even though he doesn't super affect the AFC or Pittsburgh anymore. I wasn't looking forward to seeing him. I know we do play him this year though, but I'm not looking forward to seeing him. I'm done with him. I'm ready to let the Patrick Mahomes, the Lamar Jacksons, the new blood of the
Yep.
NFL. Let them have it. You know what I'm saying? I'm waiting for Aaron Rodgers. I know Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers should be on his way out in a couple more years. I'm waiting for him to lead too. For real, for real.
I'm not. At least from a competitive standpoint, I'm not, because it's not like he's in the Super Bowl every year. But I could tolerate a couple more years of Aaron Rodgers. I don't like the fact that he's an attention whore, but I could tolerate him a couple more years playing in the league. He's still one of the best, at his game.
Sure. I mean, so is Tom Brady in that respect. But for me, yeah, like I said, it's for me, it's more about time for some youngins to get up in here.
So I don't think this is and I'm not saying that anybody is saying this, but I know I saw you tweet about it when the announcement happened. I don't think this is Brett Favre like. I just think that this is just a situation where he already misses the game, and he just wants to give it one last shot at it. I think Tom Brady is set in the afterlife of football. His TB12 brand is up and running. His wife makes buku money, so he good there. He got the kids, so they hold him down. I don't think this is a situation where folks are saying, "Oh, Brady just don't know what to do with himself." I don't think he knows what he wants to do, after football. I think he knows what he wants to do after football. I think he's set with what he wants to do. I just think that he he left too early. What's this? What, 6 weeks? He was on retirement for 6 weeks. It sounds like,
Maybe, yeah,
you
some
know.
shit like that.
Yeah. I don't.
So,
Yeah.
so what changed in 6 weeks, bruh?
What changed?
Yeah, I
Um.
mean, yeah, like literally. So, I mean, after 6 weeks, what did you even retire for? If you like, you didn't go through nothing that's in your like. You're literally off. So you
Yep.
retired. You're off. It's not like you win OTAs or training camp or none of that wild shit. You're not missing. You didn't miss anything in the 6 weeks that you retired in. So, what changed his mind in 6 weeks, in your opinion? Then,
I think it could be a couple of things. I think it could be the fact that they almost came back to beat the LA Rams in a game that, most people thought they were going to win once they completed the comeback in terms of tying the game up. And he just felt like damn, like we was just right there. Like if we would have got past the Rams, we might be in the Super Bowl. We might be hoisting a trophy again. I think the other part of it is I just think he's not ready yet. I just think, and quite frankly, that door was open. Which I mean, of course, it's going to be open for Tom Brady to come back. But I just think that he's too competitive to just walk away like that. And then I'll throw a third thing in there also. I'll throw number 3 in here. Adam Schefter, who reported it too early, and Brady's camp didn't want that to get out there at the time that it did, because if I think you remember, it was the conference championship weekend, and I think all the focus wanted to be on the two games, the quarterbacks, and all that. And that's when Adam Schefter broke the story, and then his pops came out and was like, "Yo, that's not true." And then the camp came out and was like, "Yeah, like that's not like why are you announcing that when we not trying to announce it this weekend?" So I think the fact that that happened, and he didn't want to go out the way that he did. He kind of wanted to do this on his own terms. It could just be a jab back at the media, at the league, saying, "Oh, you thought I was gone, huh?" Or, "Oh, y'all gonna mess up my retirement party, huh? Okay, watch this. I'm gonna come back on y'all niggas. Watch." And here he is. Here he is in the flesh. I did see some Steeler fans say that now that he's back, that Roethlisberger can basically have the Hall of Fame ceremony to himself as a quarterback, in the next 5 years, because they would have been sharing the same ceremony had Brady not come back. So I did see a little bit of that. I don't think you care about that
um,
all that much.
yeah, I don't. I didn't care about it when we talked about it when Brady retired, because they were saying the same thing when Brady retired. I still don't care about that. I'm still going to celebrate my quarterback the same way, and I don't care about how y'all do it. I think as far as the Brady conversation, I think you kind of reaching on that third one. I don't think he came back just to stick it. Like he, I don't think he gonna put himself through a whole nother year of NFL, not just the competition, but the training that come with it, the media that come with it, the bullshit that come with it,
Yeah.
just to stick it to the media, just to stick it to the media. I don't think that's the case at all. What I think is, if I had to put a why he retired, I think he didn't want to retire in the first place. I think that he
Mm.
made a decision to. I think he made. I think he talked it over with his wife and his family clearly wanted him to retire. Maybe he was feeling a little down, maybe a little tired from that game. And
From
I,
getting
like I
hit by
said, when
Aaron
he
Donald, yeah.
retired, yeah, like I said in that game, he was getting chased around the entire game, and I don't think he enjoyed it.
Hmm.
So I think it was a little bit of residue from that, and he was just like, you know what, my wife don't want to be in no more, all that, and and I'm just gonna go ahead and retire. 6 weeks go by, hey, Shawty, I ain't really want to do that. I ain't really want to retire. I just did that because that's what you wanted me to do. I ain't really want to do this. I wanted to play till I was 45. That's what I said,
Hmm.
8 years ago. I wanted to play till I was 45.
Hmm.
And that's what I intend on doing. So I think that's why he's back. Because he said out to do something, and he's going to do it. I mean, let's be clear. We know he's still playing just as well, if not better, than he did when he was in his prime. So it's like,
So
let him
let's talk
play.
about that. Let's talk about that because now with the roster now, so he doesn't have his two guards from last year. One of them retired. The other one, I think they lost to free agency. They still got to deal with Chris Godwin. I think they tagged him, right? Chris
They
Godwin.
tag, yes.
Okay, so you got that. Gronk has expressed going to play with Joe Burrow, but that might change because his boy's back. So,
Yeah, he playing with his man.
yeah. So you got that, and defensively, they lost a couple of guys in the secondary. So, and Leonard Fournette, he's not signed yet either. So,
Who they lose in the secondary?
um, the dude with the two last names, I forget the guy's name.
Bunting,
Bunting Scanlon, I think. I think they lost
Yeah.
him.
Okay.
They lost somebody, but
I know
think
Carlton Davis was. I know because I knew we Pittsburgh was like looking at Carlton Davis, but I didn't know that he had already left Tampa.
Oh, okay. I mean, that might be the guy I'm referring to then. But I know, I mean, point taken. Point is, they lost somebody in the secondary from the team. So I don't think this team right now, constructed right now, is not last year's team. And it's definitely not the Super Bowl team from a couple of years ago. So they're just going to have to do some retooling. Like I saw they just signed Russell Gage from the Falcons to a contract. And already they're calling Russell Gage a weapon. It's like, okay, we've never called Russell Gage a weapon before. What? It's because he got Tom Brady, now he's a weapon? Like, we see how that works. But yeah, they're gonna have to retool that team in my opinion, just based off of who they lost. And they did re-sign Ryan Jensen. I think that was important for them.
Yeah, and I think the only reason he came back is because Brady came back, because that was another guy we was targeting, Ryan Jensen. So, yeah, man, he found another way to give Pittsburgh a difficult time. It feels like for me, because I was really looking forward to having a Ryan Jensen caliber quarterback than Logan Mason, whoever that cat from we just picked up from Minnesota. So I mean, he finds another way to give us issues.
Yeah, well, we'll see. But I mean, like I said, when he left the game, he was going out on top. I mean, he was the best statistically, in the regular
But he
season.
didn't get a chip, so, and we know this
Sure,
game is about rings, so I
sure,
wouldn't say he went out on top.
sure. Well, I guess you and I look at it a little differently. I'm more so looking at it as this guy didn't look like he didn't belong in the league anymore, like compared to
Sure.
somebody like a Brett Favre or like Peyton Manning,
Or Ben
his last year.
Roethlisberger.
And yeah, exactly. So that's when I say he went out on the top of his game. I'm saying statistically he's still one of the best, and he had one of his best seasons as a passer, and he doesn't look like he doesn't belong in the league anymore. So, and speaking of the championships, and he's got the most of everybody. I mean, damn, if this dude wins an 8th ring, I mean, good God, that might entice him to come back again.
Well, let me just tell you, I don't see him winning another ring.
I don't either. I don't either. Even in a conference where you kind of look and you kind of say, okay, the quarterback landscape is not as daunting as the AFC, and we'll see what happens with Deshaun Watson. We'll talk about that next, but it's not daunting in the NFC in terms of the quarterback spot. But we'll see if some of these young guns like a Justin Fields steps up, but Jalen Hurts gets better. As the year goes on, we'll see if some of these other young guys can rise up to the level of the AFC quarterbacks.
Yeah, don't count on it no time soon. Don't count on it this year. As far just my opinion, but right now I think right now I'm pretty confident that the AFC is going to be as far as quarterbacks are concerned. they're going to be the dominant conference.
They will be. They will be. Doesn't mean that
No
those
matter,
other young
no matter.
guys aren't going to get better. I think Jalen Hurts is going to get better. I don't think he's going to be in the conversation with those quarterbacks in the AFC, but I do think you're going to see some improvement there. And the same thing with Justin Fields. I think you're going to see some improvement there, but they're not going to be talked about in that same breath.
Right. That's all I was saying. They're not going to be talked about in that same breath.
So Deshaun Watson. So there's 4 teams right now that look like they're in the running. You got the Saints, the Panthers, you got the Cleveland Browns, which that could be a problem if he ends up there. And
Which he won't.
You don't think the Browns right off the bat?
Nah. I think they're going to give Baker Mayfield another chance.
And the 4th team that came about is the Falcons, and quite frankly, I thought the Falcons should have been in on Deshaun Watson from the get-go, in my opinion. So what do you think? At the end of the day, I think he went to talk to the Browns this afternoon. Tomorrow, he's going to talk to the people at the Falcons, and then you're probably going to get a decision between Wednesday and Thursday. So at the end of the day, where do you think he ends up?
I don't have a damn clue, but is the trade package the trade package still pretty similar? 3 first rounders and some other,
You mean what Houston is asking for?
Right.
That's what they're asking for. Yes, that's still the case, but I think, just my opinion, I think the fact that Deshaun has come out already and said if he doesn't get traded that he's just going to sit out again, I think Houston at some point is going to have to settle for something less than that, because teams know that he don't want to play for them, whether he's on the roster or whether he's not on the roster. So they're just going to offer up what they got. Who do I think has the best package to give the Texans? I think it's the Panthers right now, because the Panthers have cap space. The Panthers have some young cats that they could put in a trade to get Deshaun Watson. The Saints, they're over the cap. And quite frankly, if you're over the cap and you're the Saints, you're probably looking at giving up some of those stars off, particularly off the defense, or dare I say Alvin Kamara, which they should try to keep, but I don't think the Saints have enough to make that work. The Browns, I think with the Browns, you're easily swapping Mayfield for Deshaun Watson, and you're giving up picks in that situation also. So the Browns is a possibility that they could present a good package for them. And the Falcons, and I heard this earlier, that if they did put Matt Ryan in that deal, that it would be a 3-way trade between them, Houston, and the Colts. Because the Colts would be, at that point, looking at Matt Ryan as a possibility to quarterback their team.
Okay.
So, and then obviously the Colts would have to give something back to Houston, I think. I think that's how that would work in the 3-way there. So, I think the Panthers have the best package to give the Texans, but I ain't gonna front, bro. For some reason, I think he's gonna end up in Atlanta.
Okay, what do you think the Panthers have to give to the Houston?
Well, they have they got their young boy J.C. Horn, and I would hate for them to give up J.C. Horn because he's an up and coming player, but that's probably what Houston's going to ask for. Like I said, they do have cap space, so that Deshaun Watson's going to be taking up a portion of that money that they have left over. I could see one of those receivers going over to the Texans, whether it be Robbie Samuel or the I forget the third string guy, but I could see that along with maybe a pick or two in that deal.
Okay, I just wanted to know. You said you felt like they had the best to offer them. And look, well, I guess Ridley's out for the year, but I mean, you give him some picks, give him Ridley. You know he coming. You know he gonna be there. He don't want to be there no way. You know he gonna be there in
Yeah.
2023.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you know I don't know. Maybe you throw not somebody as good as Jarrett, but maybe somebody on the defense that's not as good as Jarrett, but a efficient
Yep.
defensive player. Um, I mean, and like I said, I don't know, man. For me, and I'm not saying that Deshaun Watson isn't worth 3 first rounders. I'm just saying it's hard for me to fathom
Mm-hmm.
any of those teams giving away 3 first rounders in the state that their team is in right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that, and I think we have different reasons why. I just explained that the Texans have kind of well, maybe not so much the Texans. It's not their fault, but Deshaun said, "I'm not playing for this team, whether I'm there or whether I'm not there." So
Yeah.
I think they're gonna have to let up off of that wish list a little bit if they can't strike a deal to get 3 first round picks. In your opinion, of those 4 rosters, which one is the better roster?
Cleveland, Carolina, Atlanta, and what was the fourth team?
The Saints.
The Saints. Cleveland.
Cleveland?
Yeah,
Oh,
Cleveland's the
oh,
best roster.
okay. I think for me, it's between Cleveland and the Saints for me. And I know Carolina's up and coming, young group of guys.
Yeah, I don't think it's. I mean, to be honest with you,
Hmm.
I don't think it's close. I think it's Cleveland.
You think it's
I
Cleveland
mean,
by a lot?
um, marginal. I mean, I don't want to get into that whole lot little thing, but I think it's definitive that Cleveland got the best roster of the 4 teams.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah.
two running backs, solid tight end.
Hmm.
Landry, even though he's probably on his. Oh, they just released. Did they
No,
release
he's
him or is
out.
he on
He's
his way
going.
out?
He's going. He's
He's
going.
gone. Okay.
Yep.
But
Amari
still,
Cooper's there. Amari Cooper's there
Amari
now.
Cooper's there. I remember that. Amari Cooper's there.
Hmm.
Then on the defensive side, Greedy Williams, Denzel Ward, Garrett. Yeah, I think they're by far the better roster
Okay.
of the three
Yeah.
of the four. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I just don't want to. And let me rephrase. I'm putting Cleveland number one. I'm putting the Saints number two. But I think the Saints, when you consider the defense that they have, combined with one of the best running backs in the league in Alvin Kamara, and they're going to get Michael Thomas back at some point, I would imagine. Um,
I
I
mean,
don't.
we forget that Kareem Hunt could be starting somewhere right now.
That
And
is
Nick
true.
Chubb is also one of the best.
Now, if Cleveland makes this deal, though, don't you think the Texans are going to say, "Hey, give me one of those 2 running backs"?
I would hope so. If they were smart, I would hope so.
Yeah, yeah. Like I could see
I would hope
that.
so. They would be asking for Kareem Hunt
Yeah,
because they're not giving up Nick Chubb. That's just not happening.
yeah. I could
Yeah.
see that
Hell,
being the case.
Dearness Johnson is a good freaking running back. Is a good freaking running back.
Yeah, yeah. I agree with that. But I think if it's Cleveland, Kareem Hunt is probably going back to Houston if it's them. And like you said,
Yeah,
they could settle for Ernest to be the second guy behind Chubb.
yeah. That's a solid backup. Dearness Johnson like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Look, I don't know. I don't have an intelligent answer. But if I had to put my money on it,
Hmm.
Carolina got the most cap space, and they got to pay, and they gonna end up having to pay him.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I would go Carolina.
yeah, yeah. I'm with you
And
there.
at the end of the day, would you part ways with Christian McCaffrey for Deshaun Watson? I would.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they've been kind of dangling them out there,
And
right?
exactly, and I was getting ready to say.
Yeah, without even the Deshaun Watson talk, they've been putting them
And I
out
was
there.
going to say they wanted, and not only were they putting them out here, they was asking for first rounds
Hmm.
for them. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So yeah, that could even lessen the whole three first rounder thing. If you give a legitimate, first round prospect or
Yep,
first round talent,
that is
you
true.
give them away. That lowers that should lower the price a little bit for
Yeah,
Deshaun Watson. I get rid of CMC easily for Deshaun Watson.
Carolina can find a running back in the draft.
The league, that's the thing. The
Hmm.
league doesn't even honor the running back position the way it should. You can find those guys really
Yeah,
fast.
yeah. Oh, absolutely. You could plug somebody in. There's only like 3 or 4 special guys at running back. Everybody
Yeah,
else is like
right.
you could kind of
It's just
plug
guys.
and play. Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Uh,
yeah, unfortunately.
yeah. Unfortunately, man, because
And it's not the running back's fault, by the way. It's just the way the league is now.
yeah, they want to prop the quarterbacks up. They like throwing the ball. They want to see quarterbacks throw the ball. I
They
ain't
want to
mad
see
at it.
points scored.
I ain't mad at it.
Points get scored faster when you throw the ball.
Yeah, I ain't mad at it. Um, so I know the Ravens made a deal today.
Yeah,
Marcus Williams, 5 years, $70 million.
that's a good safety.
I love the pickup. And not necessarily a need, I would say, because it did kind of come out of left field for me. But when I found out the money that they were giving him, and he's only 25 years old, I'm with it. They still got to address pass rush though.
You didn't feel like y'all needed a safety?
Nah, I didn't feel like we
What?
over pass rush. Over pass rush, no.
Okay, not over pass rush, but Tony Jefferson uh
I'm not counting Tony Jefferson, but
they brung him back.
I know, but he's more of a in the locker room kind of a guy. Like he's barely gonna see the field, in my opinion. But Deshaun Elliott was playing some good ball before he got hurt last season. So I wouldn't necessarily put it over a need. Now Marcus Williams is better than Deshaun Elliott. That's not what I'm trying to. I'm not trying to insinuate that Deshaun Elliott's better than him, but I'm just looking at just the list of needs, and we need pass rush, but getting Marcus Williams, that's just a plus for me.
Especially when you talking about more. I mean, as if your secondary isn't already pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's I think that's a big. I think that's that's a big move. That's a big move.
yeah, yeah. Like,
Especially it makes sense with the AFC
mm-hmm.
with the way all these quarterbacks in the AFC right now, man.
Yep.
That's a big move. Like if you see what Vegas doing.
Oh, I know. Oh, what the Raiders? What they doing?
The Raiders might have Tyrann Mathieu and Stephen Gilmore by the end of the night.
That. Oh, Stephon Gilmore. Ooh, yeah,
Stefan,
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sorry. They might
yeah,
have
yeah,
both
yeah,
of them by the
yeah,
end of the
yeah,
night.
yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, so I mean, the Chargers. Went
Yep.
and got J.C. Jackson, bought Khalil
Khalil
Mack.
Mack. Yep.
Denver bought in Randy Gregory. Like you seeing what they doing right now because
Yep.
of the way the quarterbacks are right now.
Randy Gregory is with the Chargers.
No, he's with Denver.
With Denver, that's right. That's right. I knew he was
Yeah,
out. I knew he was
yeah,
out west. I can't remember what, but yeah, Cowboy
yeah.
fans
He
are not happy about that. But
yeah, they well, like the reasonable Cowboy fans, it's like, yeah, we understand.
yeah, and then there's some that are just like, well, wait, we could have kept Amari Cooper, and it's like, okay,
Nah, not for
no, you
20
couldn't.
million.
Yeah, I was gonna say, not for that
Not for
money,
20 million.
not for that bread. that they had to do something there. They had to do something
Yeah.
there, in my opinion. But
And their fourth guy is gone in Cedric Wilson. So as of right now, it's just Coop. I'm not Coop. Gallup, who got an extension,
Gallup got
and
an extension.
CD Lamb.
Yep. And that was
CD
really.
Lamb. So
And I ain't gonna front. That was really my explanation for the Amari Cooper trade. Is that it's time for CeeDee Lamb to be the number one dude.
well, you got people like on TV saying that the reason why CD Lamb has been so successful this year is because the attention has been on Amari Cooper. They compared it a lot to Juju Smith-Schuster and AB that year, And then once AB's gone, then Smith-Schuster isn't as dynamic anymore because all of the number one attention is on him.
Right.
So I mean, we'll see how that pans out. But the people are saying that CeeDee Lamb is not going to be as explosive this year because of that.
I mean, you might be right.
It's not me. That's TV saying that. I don't know.
No, I get you, but I think I think because CeeDee Lamb is young and raw and he's got a ceiling. I don't think he's
for sure.
Obviously, he's not reached his peak yet, but I think he's got a chance to be a good number one for Dallas. Maybe not like a number one guy that if you put him on Arizona or you put him in Seattle that he could be a number one, but he could be the Dallas Cowboys' number one receiver. And he's on a rookie deal.
I don't think he really. I'm about to say I don't think he has a choice, or I don't think they have a choice. So
yeah, at this point, no. So, but getting back to the point about the defenses in the AFC, what the Chargers are doing, the Raiders got better with those two pickups with Matthew and.
Well, and like I said, it's not even confirmed yet. I'm just saying that they're saying by the end of the night it's going to be done.
Oh, okay.
They really putting the pressure on Derek Carr. I'm gonna just say it right now. If they pull that off, because the defense gonna be kind of nice. The front seven is already pretty good.
And then they give your boy an extension.
Who's that? Crosby?
Was it Crosby? Yeah, I think they gave Crosby
pass
an extension.
Rusher?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I didn't hear that, but they did.
Oh no, I think they gave the gay guy.
Nassib,
yeah.
Carl Nassib.
They gave him.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
Yeah,
I didn't know that either.
They gave him an extension.
If they shoring up that they making an attempt to show up their defense. The offense is, I mean, Jacobs is good. I still don't feel like they have a number one receiver, but they have been efficient the way they running, and that defense get it together. That's another team that you're gonna have to look out for.
Yeah, no, they got if they make those signings tonight, their defense is a whole lot better than last year.
Yeah,
a whole lot better. Secondary alone better.
Yeah,
that's good for them. And I don't know what they're gonna do with Derek Carr because there's still like those rumblings that they might trade Derek Carr.
He ain't going nowhere this year.
You think so?
If they pull that off on defense, with the offense they got now,
yeah.
I mean, who's they getting better than Derek Carr?
I was just about to say you're gonna have to get somebody better than Derek Carr to do that, and right now,
who are you getting better than Derek Carr?
There's nobody out there
outside of Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, and I don't think they're getting Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, exactly.
So
you got
a point there. You got a point there. What else you got, man?
What else do I got, man?
Mitchell Trubisky.
Mitchell Trubisky is, yeah, man. I would love to say. Look, I'll tell you what I'm excited about in respects to Mitchell Trubisky. Mitchell Trubisky is making $7 million a year.
I was just about to say.
Remember I told you when he was talking about his agent was talking all that mess about we won over $10 million, whoop, all that. And I don't want to pay him that. I don't. So kudos to the Steelers. If that's going to be our starting quarterback, I'll roll with it.
So it's $7 million? Did I get that right?
a year.
$7 million, okay.
Yeah, $7 million a year. Incentives can get him over 2 years, so incentives can get them up to 27 over the course of the contract, and they still have space to cut him if he's like absolute trash this year. We're still in a fine position to just cut ties and leave it be. I'm cool. Outside of the quarterback, because that's not the guy I wanted. I'm 100% cool with the deal, and today we're doing the small things like we're picking up young veteran offensive linemen. You know what I'm saying? So we picked up that cat from Chicago. We picked up that center that I'm not super familiar with, but I'm not wild about based on what I saw. Mason Cole from Minnesota. We re-signed Chubbs, so that's good. We re-signed him. Like we are making the strides of putting the offensive line together, and that's really what I really wanted the focus to be. The only thing that's concerning me is what we're going to do at safety, at strong safety, and what we're going to do at middle linebacker. I'm high. I want Bobby Wagner. I take Miles Jack as a consolation prize, but I want Bobby Wagner.
Yeah, I want Bobby Wagner too. I guess we both gonna be fighting for Bobby Wagner, but yeah. So it sounds like your boy Juju is not getting a lot of coverage from teams on in the market and stuff. But I'm sure you would take him back at a decent price. At a decent price.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure. Like we paid him $8 million this past year. I'm cool with it. You cool with that $8 million again? Maybe give you 9, 10, something like that. But sorry, bro. I mean, respectfully, because I like Juju. I like the excitement he brung when he was a number 2 receiver. I like him on the team. I just don't like it when the pressure's on him because as he's shown in the 2 years, he's a good in the paint in the middle of the field guy. He's great on third downs, but all that blowing the top off, he ain't doing that no more without a number 1 receiver. So that's the other part. We need a number 1 receiver.
Yeah,
I know Deontay Johnson is on his way, so I'm willing to wait on it. But we need a number 1 receiver.
Yeah, that's crazy that he's not even getting any coverage. Like,
it's not that crazy to me. It's not that surprising to me at all, actually.
Well,
because like I said, he does a lot of unsexy shit on the field. Meaning, we were used to him blowing the top off in games, and he's not doing that no more. For whatever reason, and so and then he's been injured majority of this year with that he was on a quote unquote prove it deal.
Well,
he was on a 1-year deal.
I guess when you compare it to somebody like a Christian Kirk that got crazy money from Jacksonville,
got paid.
It's like, wait a minute, Christian Kirk getting that much money and Juju can't even get a look from one team.
Christian Kirk was overpaid. I agree, but Christian Kirk does have the ability to blow the top off. We've seen it.
Sure, but I mean,
I don't think he's a number 1 receiver.
No, I agree with that, but is that Juju's game? I don't think that's Juju's game. I think he could be.
But that's what we were sold. But that's what we were sold when AB was there.
Sure, and he got a lot of traffic because AB was on the field on the other side. But I think when I look at him personally, I think he's more of a possession slot guy. And
I agree with you.
Teams need that. Like, there's some teams that could use Juju Smith-Schuster right now. Like, that's what's amazing to me. And nobody's biting.
And not yet. And like I said, I don't know what he's asking of people because I recall this last offseason when people were convinced that Juju was going to get upwards of $16 million a year. So he clearly didn't get the 16. And then he got less than that, like half, almost half. And then didn't have a great season. Now I get it was because of injury, but our last looks at Juju Smith was him dancing on logos.
Yeah, I mean, but really,
I'm not saying he's not a good player, by the way.
Sure.
Let me be clear.
I got you. I just think the whole dancing on logos thing. I think when it comes to free agency, I think that gets overblown a little bit. I think he can still play. But I see what's happening. They're trying to drive his price down. That's why nobody's.
But who is?
The teams are.
The league.
I think there's teams that see Juju Smith-Schuster, and they say, okay, we think he's good, but we don't want to pay him that much, so let's just wait and
Right,
see.
but ain't that a good reason to drive his price down? If you're not sure that he's going to bring you high number 2 value?
I guess it is. I think the whole. I just have a hard time seeing Christian Kirk get that much money from Jacksonville. I think that's kind of where
I agree with that.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
I think that's where I'm at with it. I mean, Juju, between him and Christian Kirk, resumes, Juju's got the better resume.
I agree.
Okay, so
I agree.
That's why it's just a little, puzzling for me that he's not getting looks.
But it's kind of a what you've done, what have you done for me lately thing. We kind of know that.
Yep.
And Christian Kirk has done more last year than Juju has last year.
Yeah, that is true.
But Christian Kirk was definitely overpaid.
So, little bit of breaking news here. Looks like the Giants got themselves a black quarterback. And it's not.
Who'd they get?
And it's not Deshaun Watson.
Oh, I knew it wasn't because you didn't sound shocked, so I knew it wasn't him.
Tyrod Taylor, 2 years,
Okay.
$17 million.
Okay.
And I really think he's got a legit shot to steal that starting job from Daniel Jones.
Let's be very clear. He was bought in to prove whether Daniel Jones needs to be there or not.
Of course.
That's why he was bought in.
That's
why he was bought in.
Mm-hmm.
A competent quarterback who can run the offense.
Yep.
He was bought in to put that pressure on Daniel Jones. If Daniel Jones does not beat Tyrod Taylor, you can consider Daniel Jones gone.
Or if he ain't healthy enough, because remember he got hurt. So if this dude and if he don't heal, or if he don't show that he could stay healthy, then he could get up out of there. And it's going to be a journeyman quarterback for him from that point.
That's good. That's good for the Giants.
Yeah,
they need to find out. They need to find out. They need to find out if that's the dude they needed to get.
Yeah, I agree with that. Speaking of New York teams, the Jets re-signed that punt returner, Berrios. I think they had to make that happen because I watched a couple Jets games last year, and he was running back punts and kick returns, and he was also introduced in the offense certain times, and in times he looked like he could actually be on offense for a few more snaps. So I think it's like a 2-year deal, but they had to make that move, and the Jets got all this money, like $60 million under the cap, so they looking to really spend some dough there.
Except for nobody want to go there.
Yeah, right, right. The Eagles picked up somebody too. Pass rusher. Forget the guy's name. See, that's what happens when you're not prepared.
Hey man, I wouldn't have brought it up. I wouldn't even have brought it up.
And when you're trying to shoot off the dome, because I could see the guy.
I wouldn't even.
I could see the guy's name, but I can't get the guy. I can't remember the guy's name, but I saw some fans. Hassan Reddick.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I mean, and he's cool, but
Hassan Reddick.
Not like
they needed some pass rush.
Yeah, he's not. Sure, but he's not like a.
Nah, he's not.
He's a good pass rusher.
He's good.
Yeah, he ain't no name. He's good, but he ain't no name.
Yeah, he ain't.
I heard they're trying to get rid of Fletcher Cox though.
I heard that too. But if they could keep Fletcher Cox, I mean, Hassan Reddick might,
I don't think I think they're trying to get rid of him.
Like cut him?
They're trying to get rid of him though. Like put him. They at least putting him on the block to see what they can get for him.
Okay. How old is Fletcher Cox? He old, right?
Yeah, he's certainly older.
He up there, yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
He's certainly older.
Yeah, I mean, he is a big name, and he is one of the best.
And he's about to say he's still a good pass rusher though.
Yeah. But if the Eagles could keep him and they have Hassan Reddick, I think Hassan Reddick has an opportunity to be more efficient pass rusher. If you have those two guys.
I think his contribution would be good enough. It's just that he's not a number one pass rusher, as I've seen it in Arizona. He's not.
Mm-hmm.
I remember he played for Pittsburgh for not even he didn't even like start or nothing. But I remember seeing him in preseason games when he was drafted. And like I said, he was pretty good. We ended up he didn't even make the team then, and I'm thinking about it. But he was pretty good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And we talked about the Cowboys a little bit and some of their moves.
I mean, I'm just trying to understand why they tweeted that. I mean, you saw that they had to delete their tweet.
For what? The Randy Gregory stuff?
Yeah, they tweeted that we had Randy. They tweeted that Randy Gregory was back. Whoop 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 whoop.
Yep.
And whatever happened between Randy Gregory and Denver, basically he was like, "Yeah, I know I told y'all, but nah, I'm going to Denver."
Well, what Jerry
That's
trying to do?
crazy.
Lowball him? What Jerry trying to do?
I think that they offered them the same like a similar contract, but there was more money guaranteed with Denver. I think is what it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was like, "Yeah, I'm out."
Yeah. Not. You should see the Cowboy fans on my timeline, bro. They are not happy with this offseason so far. They are not happy.
I want to say rest in peace to Razor Ramon, dog. I don't want to forget it. I want to say I did not know. First of all, you know who Razor Ramon is?
Wrestler, right?
Yeah. See, and you know, I'm not a super big wrestling fan. I know you're not either.
Yeah,
but
I'm not. Yeah.
When I was little, it was a few of them that that I always remember. I liked. Razor Ramon was one of them. Yokozuna was another one. Bret Hart, obviously. Mr. Perk. It was a couple of them I liked. But Razor Ramon was always one of them dudes. So rest in peace to Razor Ramon. I didn't. Scott Hall. I didn't even know he was from Maryland. He's from Maryland.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. Rest in peace. Rest in peace. And shout out to his family. And while we're on the subject too, rest in peace to another Maryland, legend, Tracy Braxton, passed away over the weekend to cancer. And my wife likes to watch the Braxtons on TV, the reality show, and I think people didn't know about her was that she lost a lot of weight. And a lot of folks didn't know why. And, in some of the previous episodes and previous seasons, the sisters would tease her about her weight and stuff. And so everybody just thought, oh, she losing weight. She trying to slim down or whatever. But turns out she was battling cancer for about a year. And nobody knew about it. And the family didn't even, release it to the public that she, was dealing with this cancer. So... it sucks.
Rest in
though.
peace.
It sucks. Yeah. Rest in peace, and shout out to the family. I think, and I'll nip this in the bud here. I think the one thing about her that I think separated her from her sisters is that it seemed to me like she was more grounded, and she seemed like she was the more laid back type. It's like the sisters, they got they blew up. They moved to LA, they moved to Atlanta. She was the only one that stayed, here in the Baltimore area, in the DMV. She was the only one. Her husband, her son, some family still left here. She was the only one that stayed and still was able to, maintain, some of the fame, obviously due to her being Tony Braxton's sister, for one, and then two, with the reality show. So rest in peace, and shout out to the family and all that, man. That sucks. That sucks.
Yeah, rest in peace. Rest in peace.
I got one more thing, and I know you and I, we don't take play-by-play broadcasting very seriously. Like, we don't care who calls the games and stuff like that. We just watch football games and stuff, right? Joe Buck is signing up to do Monday Night Football on ESPN.
Monday Night Football, yeah.
And he's partnering up with his old boy Troy Aikman, who had also previously signed a deal to do Monday Night Football.
Mm-hmm.
This is a game changer on a lot of levels. For one, it leaves a void with Fox because not only did Joe Buck call Super Bowls and the biggest games on Fox, but he also called baseball, the World Series, which is also a big deal on that network as well. So that network has got a couple of holes to fill in terms of the sports that they have and all that. So that's going to be interesting to see who they fill that number one spot with. On the ESPN side, like this is big for them because now I think what you're going to see, and I think you and I talked about this, a month or two ago. Um, Monday Night Football is going to end up on broadcast television, back on broadcast television.
Because it should have never left.
Yeah, on ABC. I think if you got those two guys calling games, it can't just be on ESPN anymore. It's got to be on ABC. And I don't know if they're going to change that for this season. I know I've heard some people talk about in the future that they might do that. And I also heard that ESPN ABC is getting a Super Bowl in 2027, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So they're going to be in that rotation of networks to call the Super Bowl, which is huge.
Which means they're definitely going back to ABC.
Yeah, which means they would have to be on ABC permanently. And if you want to keep it on ESPN for like a simulcast situation, then yeah, you could do that. Like if you want to keep the Manning cast, because that was another thing that they were talking about. Like how do they deal with Joe Buck and Troy Aikman and then deal with, the Manning brothers? You just keep it on, your family of networks. ESPN2. There's the Manning cast. ESPN ABC. There's Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. Boom. There you go. I think it works out. Yeah.
Yeah, that ain't rocket science. Yeah. That's not rocket science.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Nah, I mean, you're right, I don't care. And to be honest, as far as what happens with Fox, they can. I mean, I don't mean to sound this brash, but they could just plug somebody else in, and it'll be fine. To be honest with you, it'll be fine. In my personal opinion, Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, with respect, they ain't that super colorful where I'ma not watch a Fox game because they not on it no more. You know what I'm saying? Like these you know what I'm saying? So I think they'll be fine in the grand scheme of things. I don't think people watch games because Joe Buck and Troy Aikman is broadcasting or because Tony Romo and
and Jim Nance.
Jim Nance is I think they'll just get whoever their most popular guys are or girls are, and they'll put them on the top games, and that'll be that.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think there's a lot of people that watch games because of certain announcers. I do think that there are a select few that do, and I don't know if networks kind of take that in consideration when they're trying to figure out, okay, who's the best fit for this spot, for this number one spot. I'm just going to throw a name out there. Gus Johnson. You know Gus Johnson? Black, Yeah, Gus Johnson, who's already on that network calling college football and college basketball. He'd be my guy. If I'm Fox and I'm looking for a recognizable voice, Gus Johnson would be that guy for me.
Give me a Aqib Talib.
Yeah, put him and Aqib Talib in the booth. Number one play-by-play people.
That's just because I think Aqib Talib is going to give you something a little different as far as commentary.
Yeah,
like he don't talk like everybody else.
I agree with that. I totally agree 100% with that. I know I said this was the last thing for me, but just one last thing in regard to this topic. Troy Aikman not re up with Fox. My theory on that is kind of what I brought up on the podcast months ago, and that was the whole, I wanted to call Dallas and San Francisco, but instead y'all got me calling Bucks and Eagles. And I think he felt a certain way about that. Like, that network should have fought harder to get that game. And he just was like, you know what? If you want me, you want me. If not, I'm just going to go take this bag someplace else.
You
So
think that was the main reason why he left?
I don't think it's the main reason, but I do think that I think it's part of it. I think there's a
Okay.
part of it because, again, I brought it up. Fox calls NFC games. And when you think of Niners and Cowboys, you think of the number one crew calling that game.
That's a premiere.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right. So and it's a playoff game at that. So, he probably looked at the schedule and was like, ooh, I get to call Dallas and San Francisco. I get to go back to where I played at and call this. No, we're gonna stick you with Bucks and Eagles. And he probably was like, really? And I get it's Tom Brady and all that, but we talking about Cowboys
And
Niners.
who called the Cowboy Niners game? Romo?
CBS.
CBS? But was it Romo?
It was Romo, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, sorry Trey Aikman, you get beat out to Romo. Romo's the hottest broadcaster right now. What you thought?
And the network paid extra money just so they can get that game. So
Because Romo's the hottest broadcaster out right now. Sorry Trey Aikman.
yeah, and quite frankly,
But I feel him.
yeah, I feel him too. And quite frankly, Romo's the hottest broadcaster out so much that really CBS shouldn't have even been paying extra. I mean, them just having Romo should be enough. But that's just me.
Nah, because there's that AFC NFC thing, so
Yeah.
I get why, but
Yep, that's true. Shout out to all the listeners out there. Shout out to everybody on Facebook Live. Appreciate y'all supporting the show. Don't forget, folks, just check us out here on the Facebook page. So when we do these Facebook Live joints, you get those notifications. Click the like button. Also, check us out on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. Follow us on Instagram at Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. Also follow us on Twitter at Barbershop SPOR2. And if you got questions or comments about the show, hit us up on the email at barbershopsportstalk1. Did I say that right? Barbershopsportstalk1 at
Sportstalk1.
gmail.com. Okay, got it. All right, folks. Appreciate y'all. We gonna holler at you next week. Maestro, one love, sir. We'll get back at it next week, bro. All right, fam.
All right.
Peace.
Hello.
Recording stopped.